Right, let's get started. Good evening and welcome to Duluth's CSD regular meeting of the Board of Directors on this date, October 18, 2023. This meeting is now called to order and we will begin with roll call. Mr. Bowman.
Here.
Carol. Here. D'Alessandri. Roston is out ill today. Hope she's feeling better soon. And Roberts is here. If everybody will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, let's begin here. Let's see. Agenda item B, the sheriff's report. Good evening, Deputy Perez. How are you?
Doing great, yourself, ma'am?
Good.
Well, last few months, there has been really big issues up in Hill. There's a lot of complaints regarding traffic on Sandia Creek, specifically Sandia and Skyrocket. And so I was there for a while and, it was interesting. Initially, I thought it was most of the residents, but actually it was people that were construction workers, people that couldn't cross our area, still trying to find a way to, fall with it. And so I was happy that it wasn't our residents. They were actually slowing down and stopping, so that was great. There was some complaints about some other areas in Duluth that we can look into. He's aware of it. They came up with one of our QA meetings. So we'll look into that starting next week. We've had some interesting stuff up there, kind of off the wall. We had people with fireworks from the hill. I don't understand. That's kind of weird this time of the year, but people were doing fireworks again. There was only one call for church for that. We've had some stolen vehicles, trailers specifically, up in Duluth. And some of the handicap is happening is that people don't have plates on their vehicles. So it's making it harder for us to use our technology to at least have an indicator where they're going and go from there, try to break it down. So even though you may never registered current, it's always good to have plates on your trailers and stuff. That way, if it does happen, you at least have something to go off of in direction. And that pretty much concludes my report.
Of course, those plates are easily removed.
Yes, they are, but just like anything else, the harder we make it for them, the better.
Right, understood.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with them, just saying that
Oh, wait. Like I say, if they want it bad enough,
we'll figure out a way.
yeah. But like I said, to me, it's always best to make it harder for them.
Sure. Okay.
Any questions from the board?
No.
No.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. All righty, let's see, moving on to agenda C, public comments. And let's see, I believe I have one here, Mark. Yes, sir. If you'd like to go to the podium. And you have 3 minutes, sir. And Isabel will let you know when your time is up, okay?
Sure, thank you.
Welcome. How can we help you?
Good evening, everyone. I just purchased the property at the Ragged. I'll just remind you I was aware of the incidents for Edison and my next door on the west side building a residential agriculture. And they need to dig inside my property. They said it's an easement. There's old trees that is going to be damaged. But digging this side, I'm just looking for a solution. If it's possible to dig on the street instead of inside of my property, just right at the fence. The transformer is inside the property. But they can go like 5 feet away and go dig the street. I want the solution.
Okay.
First.
All righty. What we will do here this evening is we will refer you to Jessica, who is right back here. And what you'll need to do is just give us a call here at the office and ask for Jessica. And then Jessica will be able to gather up your information and make sure that she directs you to the appropriate individuals. Okay?
I did communicate with you maybe via email.
Okay, so she'll take care of that for you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, another one? Let's see. You're signing in?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll let you go ahead and finish signing in, sir. And you may go up to the podium, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And so I do not destroy your name. Would you please give us your name?
My name is Herminio Catadena.
Okay, welcome, sir. You have 3 minutes. How can we? What can we
Yeah, I have a property in Santa Rosa, Via Santa Rosa. And I used to have an entrance on my property. And when they did the road and the culvert, they blocked my entrance. And according to the county, I'm supposed to have 30 feet of entrance in my property. And my property now is all curved. There's no entrance and there's no exit. And I have the paper here to show that I'm entitled to a 30 feet entrance in my property. And I can show you the picture also, what they did on my entrance.
Okay, all right, sir. During our public comments, they're usually confined to 3 minutes. We don't go into any problem solving, but what I can do for you this evening, sir, is I'm going to put you in contact with our special Mr. Stein here. He is our road engineer,
What's his name?
Ron Stein.
Yeah, I spoke to him, he's supposed to respond back and he never responded.
I spoke to you on the phone, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, but the line was so messed up. And
okay,
you received my letter and you didn't respond to my letter.
okay, sir, but what I will do this evening is I've instructed Mr. Stein to make sure that he gets in touch with you and he will follow up and gather up the information so that you can get an appropriate answer. Okay, sir?
Your stuff is unprofessional.
I'm
I spoke to Mr. James Emmons and he did not receive my, he received my letter and he did not respond and he did not answer me back.
Okay, sir, but I am the board president and I've instructed this gentleman here, Ron Stein, to make sure that he gets in touch with you and follows through with your questions. And as I indicated, during this period of time, we're very limited to what we can respond to. And we want to make sure that you get the right amount of time and the appropriate
Yes, which
responses,
is not
okay?
ignore me.
Okay, I will make sure that he follows through with you, sir, okay? I'm Debbie Roberts, okay, and I'm the president of this board here. So I will ensure that he'll get in touch with you so that we can follow through and get your answers, okay?
Yeah, do you have a card? So I can call you back if.
I think I have one right here for you, sir. Yes, you have a card, sir. Yes, here you go. And I thank you for coming in and
Thank you.
Mr. Stein will be in touch with you, okay?
Yeah,
sir? All
I
righty.
would like to talk to you if.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Hey, do we have any other visitors here? Anybody on Zoom? No? Okay, then we will move along. All righty, agenda D, this is information only. The following items are intended for information purposes only, and they include financial statements, statement of investment policy. Directors, any comments or questions? None? Okay, then we'll move on. And this will be agenda item E, consent calendar. And this includes the minutes of the August 16, 2023 regular board meeting, minutes of the October 3rd, 2023 special board meeting, general fund claims for August and September 2023. Next is the sheriff's special tax claims for August and September 2023. And there were no purchase orders. Directors, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Thank you, Paula. All in favor, Bowman?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Alessandra? Ross? Excuse me, Ross, I'm so automatic, she's not here this evening. Roberts, aye. Unanimously approved. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, let's get into some excitement here. Agenda F, legislative topics, SB 613. Mr. Ammons.
No, I think we have a guest with us, Cyrus Beavers,
Okay,
and I will let him give the report.
okay, welcome.
Thanks. I didn't have anything to report. I just want to drop in and see how you're all doing. I'm kidding. We got a bill signed, SB 613, signed on Friday the 13th. So this is a lucky day from now on, right? So congratulations to all of you. This was a heck of an effort. And as a result, you guys are not going to have to divert your organic waste. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll double our waste bills.
Oh, yes.
5 years.
Yeah, for 5 years.
For 5 years, okay.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. It's 5 years, but that's for the waivers too. Even if you got a waiver under the existing law, you only got 5 years. So, right.
Well, 5 years better than no use.
Yeah.
And on
So-
behalf of all of the residents out here who don't have to pay twice what they normally would for trash removal, we thank you.
So we're going to try to, Jim had already set me the task of getting Senator Sayarto out here so we can, let him say thanks and
Yes.
bend his ear a little bit on items. But I did, before actually pulling the trigger on that, I did want to, land the plane on 613. So now that we've got that, we're going to move on and get you guys introduced to Senator Sayarto and let you thank him in person.
Oh, that would be wonderful. We would really appreciate that. Great job.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be in touch soon.
Thanks much, Jim. All right. Call me if you need me.
Yeah, so.
Oh, we'll definitely call
We
you.
have a party, he can fly down and.
Yes, definitely. Love to meet you in person, sir.
Oh, if I wouldn't have had a 2 o'clock call today, I'd have been there in person if I wouldn't have had to been on a call at 2 o'clock. Absolutely.
Okay, very good.
All right. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank
Thank you.
Great job.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think the other part of this, he did, obviously was down there on the ground, did a great job. But I think we should also recognize that Mr. Evans actually led the charge early on. And it was, we should thank him as well.
Yes. Yes, very interesting process from start to finish.
Yeah.
And
Don't
we'll still
say any way you want to be to.
Oh, okay, that was good.
Actually, though, it's not back of memory. We really had to battle behind the scenes just to get to where, Cyrus was.
Right.
Because those folks, like when I meet them up in Sacramento or in that convention in Monterey, boy, they were not very nice.
Yeah.
And, of course, I haven't heard any congratulations this week.
And I know I took it seriously, sending a thank you note to the governor.
I think you will. I think it's been kind of a crazy week.
Yes.
But originally, that was my plan for this week, but
Yeah.
it's kind of gone off on other tangents, but we need to talk about the senator, and we need to get some appreciation going his way, and, all the other players, the
Right.
governor,
Right.
and maybe their staff members that I didn't know, so Cyrus and I were supposed to dive together and talked about it, and
Okay.
push them off, but in the next few days, I'll get on that, and we'll talk about that.
But I hope from the get-go, in terms of BB&K and so forth, so that roughly how much time did we spend on this now?
It was about a year and a half since that convention when we knocked heads, or I knocked heads,
Okay,
kind of by accident
okay,
with this number 2 person at Cowboy
Yes.
Cycle.
okay.
And then BB&K,
Mhm.
he's been a little sick of us.
No, I think it was last fall that we brought him on.
Oh,
We started him at least in November of last year
Okay,
because he wanted to get a running start before the session.
right,
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
So,
He
yeah,
needed to, do some
groundwork
We
before.
had the bill written before the legislature.
Before Chris was
sworn in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking like back then.
But I've never met Cyrus. He did some advising to me, during the previous Senate bill on the fuel tax. Just as a pro bono kind of thing, help us out because we were a BPA client. But, having watched him work, and I've worked with quite a few lobbyists over the years, he's a real go-getter. I really like his style, even though I really didn't get to observe much of it because everything was so smooth. Previous lobbyists, you have to kind of badge them. Come on, I gotta meet with you. What are you doing? This kind of thing. You kind of have to ride them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's the way we like it.
yeah, absolutely. So we scored.
Yeah, we
So,
did. Again, well done, everybody. Great job, and get that communication out to the residents and so forth. And yeah, definitely get the senator in here and so forth. So, okay, very good. Thank you, Jim. All right, moving along. Buena Vista, Mr. Buena Vista, you're.
Well, I think I'm gonna continue the trend here with some good news. So if Jessica, if you want to pull up that presentation. So as we've, I think discussed a few times in the past now, Buena Vista is still going on. So just want to kind of, it's been so long now, so if you could get to the next slide whenever you get a chance. I just want to kind of remind everyone about what we were dealing with basically over 3 years ago, basically. This was a giant hole, just a giant valley right now, 20, 30 feet deep, basically, with that ridiculously strong water pipe that still amazes me that was standing there. Now you can see the remnants of what was our culverts before, and then now if you go to the next slide, no one will even remember it, and you can see, I don't know, that screen's updating, but that one's not, I guess, but
Okay.
but you can see on these two screens here, basically, now we've filled everything in. We finally got it for a lot of rains, a random hurricane and everything else that happened with this project.
Yeah.
Now we finally have a full roadway. Everything went great out there. I just want to give a good shout out to Raj. He kept everyone in line out there, and Southland Paving has done a great job out there. They basically, a lot of contractors would have been just chomping at the bit to go for change orders with all the time spent out there and extra time due to all the rain, but they've been cooperating and working well with Rod. So I do want to applaud them on the work they did. I know it's taken a while, but now you can see we finally have everything filled in a functional road. So the project has been completed. They finished all the work. And now I'll just show you a couple pictures of the last couple items we've done. You can see here, that's the head walls, all the riprap. They installed a cable railing. Right now, was still a work in progress when this was taken, but the cable railing is now fully operational. That's basically to stop people from falling over and just any trip hazard or fall hazards that would happen over there. That's why we added that cable railing in. And then next, you can see the final item of the paving was just these down drains right here to to convey the water off the roadway basically and allow it to come down and not erode off the side, which was one of the big issues that we had with the original storm drain was this sheet flow and that was going over the slopes, and now we have a much more stable slope and also better conveyance of water to not make this happen, not allow this to happen again. And then the next picture, you can see this is them pouring concrete basically lowering the slope. They use this big giant pump right there that goes all the way down to the creek for some of the final touches. I think I have another picture of that as well. Because this is them, they're pouring the concrete interceptor drains. This is the subgrade. You can see they have the pump down there. They're preparing the subgrade right now and everything that goes under those interceptor drains that will take the water from that down drain around water into the creek where it's supposed to be. And then next slide. This is more of a final product of these interceptor drains. You can see everything's built. I know what that looks like native dirt right now, but I assure you they did hydro seed that slope. So that's one of the last items that we're just waiting for everything to revegetate. So it'll be, a nice slope with just fitting in. It just takes a little bit of time for the hydro seeds to fill in. And once that does, it won't stand out anymore, and the environmental people won't stop and wonder what's going on out there. So that's why I make sure to put native seed in there. And then here, you can see a little extra work that we did, that Southland did for these driveways that were coming in. Put a little extra riprap. I believe there was also a drainage pipe that goes and outlets into that riprap to make sure that, because right now it was actually amazing how many extra tributaries there were going into the stream. And I mean, it really explains why this would happen in the first place. So I'm glad we are actually able to properly convey all this water now and hope and do as much as we can to mitigate for any future storms, basically. And this thing is designed to handle the 100-year storm, of course. So we are in much better shape now, and the slopes are much more stable now. So we're feeling very confident about this project. And the next slide. This is another view of those interceptor drains, basically at the top from down drain. You can see we go down, you can also see the cable railing, much more complete there. And the head wall, but the thing is, you can't even see anything down there when you're driving past it. So it's funny that after all this time we spent talking on it, now it just looks like a regular project now. And it's hopefully will be forgotten about for another 50, 60 years is our goal here. Here's a better picture of the interceptor drain, but the cable railings actually have the cable installed now. And and we also put that, basically the interceptor drain goes right in front of the head wall, so you don't have water ponding behind that head wall and just basically eroding that area out, causing the head wall to fail. Thank you. And then well constructed too, they did a really good job out there, so. And then if you go to the next slide, that's just another one showing the max 2-to-1 grading down to the slope. Make sure that that's all stable, a little better picture of some of the riprap that we use, and larger rock so that it won't wash away. Now, this is one of the last steps they did was plugging up the bypass pipe basically and getting rid of the diversion trench. What they do is they abandon, when they're rerouted the creek basically around, they had to abandon that pipe, fill it up with some kind of slurry or sand just to make sure that it's stable, and then cap it on both sides so they continue to go in the creek. So that's what they're doing here, is basically getting rid of all that diversion. They moved the riprap out of the way so they can do that, but that'll be done. And now down to the actual final report, basically, and what everyone's kind of worried about is the budget update. If you can see, based on the updated bid that was updated, the updated bid was around $529,389, and with the contingency of $53,000, totaling the construction contract for just construction at $582,389.40. Somehow, throughout the whole project, the only change orders we had totaled up to about a little over $20,000, basically, which is amazing with all the extra time they spent out there and just all the rainstorms, all the damage that happened. And those two change orders were one from additional water damage, which potentially came from a Rancho water line break. That's what the contract is claiming. I put this on to the district side just as the worst case scenario, but there is a possibility that we can try and get this out of Rancho water. But right now I just put it under our responsibility for that. And the next one was that safety cable railing. We added that cable railing in basically. Totaling a little under $9,000, but for a total of $20,000, that puts us well below the $53,000 contingency. So we were still within the contract time and budget. The final contract amount ended up being a little under $550K, which is $32,956 below the budgeted amount. And then there was also extra work that so we work well with Rancho Water basically, and you saw that water pipe that was there. We had that cap for a while. And Rancho wanted to take this time to basically rebuild the pipe right rather than us filling everything in and build it out. So we worked with them to include that as part of our contract. And it'll be kind of a pass through where we paid this out and then we invoiced basically Rancho Water. We tracked all the time separately and it came out to a little over $42,000 that'll be billed to Rancho Water for all the work that we did, and they got the new pipe, and that's now reconnected, and the 2 or 3 houses that were probably a little bit of a lower pressure now are gonna be all back to normal. It was capped at both ends, and for a water line, you never wanna see a dead end. You want it to be a full loop system for redundancy, otherwise you put extra pressure in the lines, and that creates issues. So now we're back to the full loop and full connection, and all in all, I guess just thank you to Rod and Southland Paving. We're 100% wrapped up on this. We got the final invoice processing right now. That's all based on these numbers. The next step will be, we'll probably at the next meeting to file a notice of completion with the county once we get all the admin stuff and we see a little bit of that vegetation starting to come through. That's when we can finalize everything out and send that notice of completion. And then once we file a notice of completion, within 30 days, we're allowed to pay that last 5% retention from the contract. And then I think I shouldn't be talking about Buena Vista for a long, long time. And we'll have to figure something else out.
Well done, very good.
I guess, yeah, any questions? I think that,
Yeah, Ron, I just have one for you.
Yeah, of course.
Scale of this project compared to other similar facilities in the area. Is this in the upper 90% or upper 10%, I should say? Mid-range, how does this scale compared with other culverts within the district?
within the district, I mean, we're looking at 60-inch storm drains, so these are some of the larger pipes. But I'd say that it's definitely on the upper tier of pipes that we would have, especially because of the cover out there. There are a lot. I mean, if you look, we had both Buena Vista and then we had San Diego Creek, and San Diego Creek was also 60-inch pipes. So in that sense, we were very similar. Viva Carroll was a little smaller, I think at 48. But it's definitely the higher pipes, largest storm drain. Probably I guess I don't have the exact record of the map, but I definitely think it's the largest storm drain, if not the largest storm drain we have out there. There may be multiple others like this, but this is definitely one of the largest systems that we have.
Roger, your analysis, and we can go into this later when we're doing the other thing, but think about, I'd like to get an update on what the status is on the other similar culverts. I know you've looked at all of them, and just so we got a feel whether there's another one of these laying out there for us.
And there were additional costs associated with this, right?
So like, are you talking about like design before that and basically admin costs that were going in?
And all.
Yes, there were environmental costs for inspection costs that were, so that was strictly construction. And when I file a notice of completion, I can have that full list of the complete fiscal impact, basically.
Environmental was more than 100. I think if we added all together, it was close to 150. Just for the environment.
And what about all of those costs together? Where would that bring the project?
I have to look at the exact numbers. I have all the design costs when we put this out the bid, and then I had to tally up. It's still, I don't have the final number because we're still doing the final processing, but when we, at the next meeting, I plan to come with basically that final, the final fiscal impact, basically, which would be design, environmental. But right now, it's still a running tally because they're still working through the final invoicing right now. But I can definitely, at next meeting, when we file a notice of completion, we'll have that full fiscal impact. Because I think I know where you're going, yes, because of how long this project did drag out, there's obviously more administration costs involved with that. But the good thing is on the construction side, which always tends to be the most expensive part, South Bend Paving was very cooperative with helping us out. Because it definitely cost them some money to maintain all those BMPs, hurricane and all this.
Just a side note, so I don't know, I stepped out for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the Southland was 530,000, correct? We've paid 340,000 so far, so we owe Southland 190,000 more. Just, I know he's gonna come up with better numbers, but I'm looking at it about 900,000, right, give or take.
Pretty much.
And maybe up to $1 million.
Right.
So.
Generally, the design is like 20%.
I'd say design, CM and design, inspection and design usually comes out around 15–20%.
We got another 150, so 250 just design and environmental. And then all the extra. And one thing I will say, each inspector has their own characteristics or whatever. There could have been in the 6-month kind of extension period. I expected that the change order would go clear up to budget and maybe exceed. Because you guys would keep telling me, oh, this is happening. We need more sand. We need more riprap. We need that. You know, all one thing of dollar signs. And you see, it was only like 11 or whatever.
Yeah, 20,000 total.
Well, you know, then I'd see Raj walking around here, you know, a week or two later, we need more riprap, we need more sand. And I'd say, so Raj, how much does that sand cost?
Oh, I worked the deal. And how much is the riprap? Oh, well, they gave me a bill, but I told them, take that bill home, too much patience.
Basically, that's where Raj comes in, is this master at negotiating, like, you see something, you take from here, you put something else there, and, that's where it was a good partnership out there, but yes, it definitely could have been, if we had a contractor that was planning things for everything, they could have definitely had that liberty, but I think it all worked out well, but yeah, so we'll get that final fiscal cost, it'd be right in the ballpark that Teresa, was saying there, but I want to get to those exact numbers, so you can see the fiscal impact.
Okay, very good. Well done, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Well done. Okay, moving on. H, the culvert, culvert. Maintenance and replacement project, Mr. Gill, yes.
Well, I'll kind of just introduce the subject here. We've got TJ and Raj. Maybe you guys could come to the podium here, because we'll turn it over to you in just a minute. As you recall, we were trying something new, which we've been dealing with the engineering committee the most, but rather than do like a big slurry seal project or an overlay project for our annual project, this year we're doing kind of an experimental program or project where we're trying to bring culvert maintenance and replacement in-house. And since Raj finished Buena Vista, we've transitioned him over to work with our crew and see if we can get them trained up so that some of these more minor, not like this, but minor culvert projects could be done in-house, and we're acquiring the equipment to be able to do that. So we've done a kickoff, and we completed 2 as of last Friday was the second one completed. So we've discussed it with the engineering committee, and so I thought maybe you could give your presentation, show the board what we've been doing. And then maybe Chuck and I can go a little further in discussion with the board about the feelings that the committee's had about this. So anyway, so maybe the 2 of you guys.
And something I could add, Jim, basically, these are all based off of the project that we tried to bid out that came in too high. So they had engineering plans for all this, basically loosely to go out there with. So it is based on comparing it to those recent bids that we had, basically. So just on there were engineering plans created basically in the beginning, and they were able to take it to the field and build out to that. So just something I wanted to add.
Yeah.
That's
Correct.
important. Thank you.
So we're talking about road Santa Rosa first, right?
Okay.
Oh, it's one up right.
This culvert is 3 feet tail, collapse almost. And we had lights on top, and the bridge were collapsed, and bridge were canceled. And we had an opportunity to do in house. So this is the very first one which we did on West Colorado, converting of 155, 54. This is where we started with one of our contractor, Dylan. He helped us out on this project. So this is a washout underneath the concrete slab. Next slide, please. This is where they are taking out the culvert, the plain culvert, the converted ones. Next slide. Okay. Next slide.
Raj, how did this come to your attention that the work needed to be done?
We inspected it before, prior to that.
So this was a result of your inspection?
I think actually we were getting calls at the office. It's clear out by the district boundary.
Right.
But there's a UCSD, what is it?
So, nothing.
Yeah, so you got these college kids, going out for hikes or whatever they do out there. Anyway, there's a lot more traffic, way down at the end. So we started getting calls, and our crews went out and looked at it. Then we had Marietta come because the concern was it might collapse. And so they just temporarily put a plate over, so that the safety issue went away. And then that's when Raj and Cabri, well, your people, design crews got involved. And then we actually bid it out, you know, we looked at 10
Right.
that we didn't go through with. But anyway, so
Right. So this is, you see the pipe, there's no bottom of it. So basically everything was washed out underneath it. Next slide. This is where you saw that washout underneath the slab has been removed. And now it's being compacted. Next slide. This is the actual trench. And the guy, the excavator, he's cleaning at the outlet side of the channel. And you see that rock over there, the rock bedding is prepared. So next would be pipe. Next slide. The pipe is already in place. What he's doing is he's checking the grades. You see the stack is on it. And there's a level on the other side, which you don't see here. Next slide. This is after riprap and everything has been placed. You see the riprap on the outlet side, which is we are going to embed later on. And you see the sand wall to retain the backfill. The backfill is slurry, which is coming up. So it is to retain in place. Hence, right. This is riprap. We placed it there. Next slide. Okay, this is a slurry backfill. We compact, so there's no need of compaction when we do slurry back. So that's why we did the slurry back. Next slide. After slurry backfill, both the guys are standing on Trasco base, and they're ready for asphalt treatment. And the asphalt is being delivered on site. Next slide. This is almost the final product. This is the inlet side where concrete slopes or embedment has been taking place. And this is the bypass pipe, which is going through the main pipe. So all the water is being catered from the dam through bypass on the other side, while the concrete is being cured. Next slide. All right, we'll go to the next one. Last one.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
That's the Tornado, that where the equipment was,
Yes.
standing on that, right? In the final product, are there barriers on either side of that?
But we got delineators.
Okay,
We put the delineators once everything was done.
okay,
We strike it,
okay.
shoulder and center. All right, this is the Los Gatos where we almost closed for 3 days we closed the road. So these are the detour signs for the through traffic. And there was hardly one car in 4 days. So that's why we chose that side, because there's no traffic at all. Next slide. This is the detour. All right, next slide. This is where the road is closed. Next slide. All right, this is where we started the work to replace culvert. Next slide. This is part of the pipe, if we took it out. The rest we could not take it out because it was too big. So we plugged it with concrete later on. So, next slide. All right, the guy is excavating, basically he's just review that, please? All right, sure. So basically, it's compacting the bed of the trench. And here's the wheel, he's holding the wheel, compacted. Next slide. This is where TJ is soaking the pipe ends, so the pipe can slide and join together. All right, next slide.
This is the plastic rubberized pipe.
HDPE. This is another view of different color where Dylan is soaking the joint before he pushes the joint together. Next slide. This is where the backbone and compaction is being taking place on the trench. Next slide. This is a reflect at the end of the pipe, which we have embedded. This is an outlet side. Next slide. This is a larger view of two culverts. And you see the sandbags over there? It is for placing concrete color around the push-on pipe. Because push-on pipe, with the force of water can come out, can separate. So I'm going to pour that joint for this table.
Or if I gaskets.
Yeah. It's more like gasket, but it's push on, so it pulls out. So we will hold it in place. Next slide. This is the inlet side, where all repair is placed, and the inlet, whole inlet is, there are three culverts in there. And we're going to embed, even with concrete there on it. Yeah. This is where they started, and the guy you see is a pump guy, he helped us out. And we are placing concrete in that all the repair on the inlet side. Next slide, please. This is the final product. How you see the video. Oh, everything's all in there. All right, next slide, please. This is number 64 and 65 and 66 convert. 65 is the existing convert, the 66. You see, it's the CMP pipe. That's the metal pipe. At the end. It was in good shape, so we left it as it is. And the pipe which we replaced was totally corroded. So this is one of the pipe in that same inlet area. Next one. And this is 64. This is the corner one. Next slide. This is another view of outlet side where we pour concrete at the joints. You see the rebar and then we place the rebar after everything. We just basically shove it in. Next one. This is the side view. Of the riprap being embedded on the slope. So my slope doesn't wash out or water flows on top. Next one, please. This is almost, yeah, ready to end. And what you see over there is the socket, nice and neat cut for asphalt. Next one. In the back, you see the work is already going on, and this delivery guy is delivering asphalt in there. Right, next one. This is the final. The rolling is going on, the compaction. Right, next one. Oh, good job, Dylan. Make it. Thank you.
Well done.
You all know.
Good job.
Okay, all right, the next slide, I think you guys might be interested in, what the sales are, what
Oh, yes.
we did, and it's only for the first two converts, but for now. Not for, other one, not that, not that is still we are working on it. So basically, the cost which came out, construction wise, material and contractor, we paid 20 grand, 2378. And manpower, which we use, Dylan, not Dylan, TJ, myself, and Nick, that was around 11,320. So total 31,698,000. So engineer's estimate was around 91,000. Contractor bid was 103,000. So saving was almost like 71,000 for those two bids.
That's good.
Well done.
As a sidebar, Ron, we didn't approve this originally because we felt those costs were high, the original bids. They were. Where do you think the realistic bid for an outside job would have been on that?
So if it was lumped together with all the other projects, I'd say the engineer's estimate was even spiked a little bit because I knew how prices were going. So I put it at probably like the 80.
Around 80.
70 to 80K, but it's hard to tell because next
So
year it'll be.
even at that, we're in at half the price or a little less.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a lot, and of course, with the contractors, you know, the maintenance jobs they're done, they're maintenance jobs basically, but when you come up with a construction contract, the whole contract administration side, you have geotechnical testing going on, you have multiple consultants, everything moving around. But these are great opportunities for us to fix stuff, get stuff operational, especially in preparation for a rainy season like we're doing right now, and who knows how rainy it's gonna be, so, it's great to see maintenance crew being able to do this kind of work, and you can see
Yeah,
it
it really
savings
is.
right there.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And in an environment where we see costs increasing and our revenue is fixed, having savings like this is really our prime way of staying up with the maintenance on the roads, given our budget.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
Well done, gentlemen. Thank you. Great job. Mr. Hassel.
Well, before we go on, let me get that original question from the last discussion back in terms of the Buena Vista project size and the other culverts that we've inspected and that are in the district. Do we have any of that scale that are in jeopardy now?
No, I haven't. Nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
That was the largest, biggest scale.
So of the 8 or so that we had identified as
No, they are not. Comparing the fact is,
of the same scale as the jobs that have been done here.
yeah.
And you also gotta remember, Chuck,
And
but
the worst one which we did, last Garros one was on the slopes. They were the worst one among all of them. That's why we took it as we told, because we couldn't take it out. All the pipes were there.
Yeah.
Because they're too deep. And they are stopping even the outlet, we don't know where they are. So we just went out and like sides and all that.
And you also gotta remember, Chuck, this is I think a little before you got on the board, we had FEMA 23 and 34 projects, where that's where we took care of a lot of the worst case, we broke it up basically, FEMA 23 were the easier ones that we could easily get in first, and 34 was the second phase of more complex projects, so that took care of a lot of the more complex projects around the district, for the time being, of course, but assuming a pipe life of 50 years, and that's, with this ACP, I mean, honestly, they call it 50 years, that stuff the glass roof was really proof.
So what concerns me, of course, is seeing these that have the bottoms completely rusted out. And the structural integrity is just, gone.
Well, it's amazing, even that last pipe they took out, you can see it was perfect, shiny aluminum on top, and then the bottom was completely gone because it's just taking the low flow all day, and that's what kills it. So the large flow is gonna rust right through, but that low flow slowly trickling, that's what's gonna cause your pipe to rust, so. There's ways to do inlet control to stop that low flow from dissipating your pipes, but, so there's a lot to be done, but as far as the scale, I mean, we've taken care of some of the hard projects within the district as far as storm drains go, not to say there's not gonna be more out there, that's why we continue to inspect everything, but, I think we've taken care of some of the more complex projects.
We're at about 60% completed on your inspections.
Yes,
Yeah, so there's 750. And what we found is when we started having Raj work with the guys and do the inspection, that we're getting a lot of cleanup, number one, that probably wasn't done in the past, much cleanup of it at that time. But also we've got, Raj's highs are better than any of the highs that have been doing inspections. So he's coming back and more or less making recommendations or putting it into the system as to where it fits, in the priorities, okay? And so one of the things we need to do like this winter is to get that finished up. 750, it takes a long time, to cover them all. And they're photo documenting and Keith's writing up and TJ's writing up, little reports so that by next spring, we should be able to provide the board, the committee, kind of a priority of where the highest priorities are for the next round. And just as an FYI, we've been talking about, so what are we doing from now till the end of the year? And we probably won't do any more projects like this because we really need to get to the drains.
yeah.
And these are like problem drains that we know in the past and get those all cleaned off on the surface, okay? And so, because we just finished weed abatement more or less. So transfer over to drain cleaning until the rains come. And then during that time, we can get these inspections, get up on getting these inspections done too. So that we can start like early in the winter, January, or whatever, being able to figure out what the priorities are and what are we gonna do next year. And then as soon as the rains die down, like March, probably, we can start then with those priorities and work through the year earlier than we did this year, because we got a little behind points. So that's kind of the thought. And, every week is something a little different. That's the plan as of now for what we'll be doing for the next 2 or 3 months.
Thank you. Very good. Mr. Gassel.
All right, so we're not doing our big culvert jobs that we're doing now. We're out doing weed abatement. This one was with Dylan. He comes out and brings his mower. This was an after shot. So this was Dylan with his mower, and even if we're not mowing with Dylan during our inspections with Raj, we're actually weed whacking by hand the areas that we're about to inspect. So kind of do like some spot treatment by hand, basically. Next slide, please. Someone dropped a nice little desk for us over there on a Tornado. We put the dump truck to use for this one. It was a lot easier to stuff it in there than it was to put it in the back of the pickup truck. And I don't actually have an updated picture, but the dump truck does look a little different. As you can see, like I think that's like a spray-on liner that they do. We actually put plywood up against the walls, so that way when we're dumping in basically rock and it rolls around, it bounces, it doesn't dent the sides. So it's all plywood lined now. So that way, when the rock does hit it, it breaks the plywood and not our sidewall. And then once the plywood is basically all run and toasted, we drill it back out, slap a new one back in. So basically protecting our dump bed for its last forever and ever. This was on the tornado. We kind of already covered this. I don't know.
That's original,
What, yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of combine our presentations a little bit, so I don't know if we want to go over.
Just get it. Get it.
Yeah. So I think basically after that, I think that's pretty much it. We've been pretty much busy with the bigger projects. But I guess since we're so busy with the bigger projects, do you guys see anything that we haven't got to yet? Sign down, call hold, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to email me, Raj, Nick, Jim, Teresa. Just Isabel, and Matt. They'll relay the message to us and we'll get to it as soon as we can. So,
Okay.
other than that, I think I'm good. If you guys have any questions for?
No. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Well done, gentlemen. Moving on, let's see, agenda J, committee reports, Mr. Bowman.
Yes, we had our monthly engineering committee meeting on last 10th of October, and we have just covered everything we covered in that meeting, so there's no point in doing it again.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay. So, yes,
The finance committee met yesterday. And you can see in here the report for the return on our fund in LAMF, and that is about 3.5%, a little bit more, which is substantially better, 10 times better than, literally 10 times better than we had in the past. But we're doing even better, because we have our 3 treasury bills, and they're about 5.5%, right in that area. We're getting the 4th one next week. And these will come due starting in January. So yesterday we decided that we would go with that 4th one, and we'll take it a month at a time to see what this looks like. We could do a 5th one at some point, but at this point there'll be 4, and all of them will be earning over 5%. So it is very good. And, it doesn't double what we're getting the other, but it's pretty close to that. So we're very pleased with that. And anything else?
No, I think that was like, yeah. Mainly the G bills, that's a good move.
all right, very good, thank you. Okay,
Well,
legislative.
there is one other thing, I apologize.
Oh, no, it's-
I have, the audit has started. Yes, I almost forgot that. They're collecting information for the audit, and we're expecting a presentation. I've said this before, you know. And, this is almost like, what is this?
It is.
We're expecting a presentation in January. And it seems to be a reasonable expectation at this point. So we'll let you know as we go.
Okay, sounds like a deal, thank you. Okay, legislative committee report SB 415. Mr. Ammons.
Well, the committee had asked BPK to send a letter to the state controller's office for clarification. It's gone back and forth since the committee's meeting last with Supervisor Jeffries. And we just received that back, and it looks somewhat favorable. So the committee would like to meet again with Supervisor Jeffries. And I started something there.
Very good.
That kind of summarize it.
I think it does. I think I had to read the letter a few times myself, but I think I did make some sense out of it, but my personal interpretation, and Robert speak up, I'm sure you read it too. Like, it looks interesting. It looks like a possibility. It's been several months since the last communications with them, so, but again, yeah, definitely the opportunity to meet with Jeffries and to have a discussion on this. This is one of our bigger projects,
Yes.
bigger than Buena Vista. And so anyhow, so we'll keep you all informed. This letter was sent to BB&K back on October the 2nd. So we're going to continue to noodle on it a little bit and put a plan together in terms of meeting with Jeffries.
I would say that the most important part of this, the last couple of paragraphs.
Absolutely, it is.
So, I mean, I went through the whole letter and I'm kind of thinking, where is this going?
Yeah.
And when you get to the last two paragraphs, you see where it went. And the important thing here is that we predicted this outcome, which is that the auditor doesn't give legal opinions. And basically, that's what it says. They don't want to give a legal opinion about this, but they do say that the county has the authority to do this, and they are not going to question the county. So we think that's real, I think, anybody else does, I think that's really positive. And I think that's what we should present to the supervisor, that it's in their ballpark now. And our expectation, because this is what he said last year or the year before, that if it doesn't cost the county any money, he would do it.
Right.
So we should remind them about that, that this will not cost the county any money.
Right.
So we're
And
gonna
we still have support from Washington as well.
Washington.
Is that the other supervisor that's?
Oh, yeah, Supervisor Washington, we don't know that for sure.
Right.
But once we talk to Jeffries, if this is the go, we will be contacting the other
Yeah.
supervisors. Right.
Right.
Sorry, I put you in DC.
Yes, no, and that conversation goes back to, in fact, I took the notebook out back in February of 2020 when the community met at the barn, Chris and Todd Close's barn, and we stood in front of the residents of Duluth and said, "I'm with you folks." And so this has been going on for a number of years now, and so we're going to be optimistic here and get this meeting as soon as possible, and which might be after the first of the year, unfortunately, with the holidays around the corner. That always seems to be the way. Yeah, yeah. You just need a few minutes of this time, that's it. But anyhow, so let's see, anything else on that? No. Okay, so let's move along. Agenda K, General Manager's Report. Mr. Ryan.
One thing that I was going to insert into the discussion about culvert maintenance and replacement is the one thing that when we started this down at Tornado, we didn't remember that you needed support for all these undertakings on the field. Like somebody's got to order the asphalt, somebody's got to pay for the asphalt, somebody's got to order the rock, all of these things. So it has been an interesting process in the office, because the office folks are all new to this too. So they don't have the connections of the contract. So we're almost, like Marietta Construction in a way. The people in the office know, oh yeah, you have to order rock, you gotta order this, you gotta order that, whatever equipment they need. So it's also a learning process here too. So, and I told Jessica, she may have to be demoted because she was going to be our queen of trash. Yeah, but I got rid of that, so I don't know what we're going to do with her. So maybe now she can be the queen of rock worker.
She's been doing a great job working with Raj and everything. So.
Just make sure you're wearing your hard hat and your gas orders.
There's a lot to it. So.
Yeah, we were all gearing up for going out and inspecting everybody's trash. Jessica's job is to go trash down. Not gonna get to do that, so anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, CR&R knows about it too.
Oh, true,
Yeah.
yes, I mean, they have been informed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not out there ordering 100 more trucks.
Yeah, I will,
Yeah.
so you can only order 99.
Anyway, I drove along Inez on the way toward East Portola. This is where it turns into that
Yeah.
today. And I noticed that they were picking up trash there. And each house had 3 barrels.
Yeah.
And a gray one, a blue one, and a black one. They were all lined up on the road there in front of those houses. So that's where we could be, and so could have been. So it's just interesting to see that that's already begun in some places.
Yeah, we got 3 too. We just,
Just like
it's a lot of wheeling. Every week. And it's a lot of trash trucks too. We get one gone by and then 2 hours later, another one goes by and very noisy. Yeah, it's not a pretty.
But it would have been easier here because one of them would have been empty.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure Alex was very excited for us.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so I don't think anyone predicted this outcome. Because the people, like Alex and his people, used to take me aside and say, the probabilities of you getting this through, only getting this through the legislature. So this Sayarto senator, I want to meet this guy.
Sure.
He's first term, he's only been there for 9 months. And, but he did make us #1. You get 20 bills. And then at some point you meet with the majority leader, and all 80 of them, 40 of them. And you tell them, what's your priorities? And he made us 1 out of his 20. And they try, because everybody has to get their bill through, you're the average party, or whatever. And so they try to accommodate that. And so apparently they did, because the only person who voted against us in the assembly was a female new assembly person from South Orange County. And I read up on her, and I'm sure she's, pretty green, just from her background. And so it must be that. But like Cal Recycle, all the big wigs that I talked to over time, they go, we get it, the safety, the this, the that. But everybody's got to do their part, and we can't let. The minute we start letting one guy go, then everybody runs out. So we understand your problem, but we can't let it go. So perhaps that assembly person is just, if I have to do it, everybody does it. But to get it, then we got the entire thing. So that's pretty darn good. So this guy's doing something right. He's gonna be pretty successful up there, I suspect.
Right. So like we said, we gotta get him in here to.
Yes.
Yes.
I hear he's a really nice guy.
Okay.
Big battalion chief in LA County fire. So
Very good.
that's his background.
All righty. Let's see, what else you have here on?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's now time for our district insurance coverage. And the insurance market is not what it has been before. We are hearing about the news markets are pulling out. And we're having to dismantle we have like an umbrella policy that we've had for years through Alliant as our broker. And it covers special districts, and that we're having to take apart and shop all the elements of it, general liability, auto, E&O, employment liability, and equipment, auto and equipment. So anyway, we received information today, just a few hours ago, that the insurer who's requiring us to take this insurance policy apart has agreed to extend the coverage time until the first of the year, January 1st. So we'll continue to have the high $25 million liability coverage and everything but the E&O, which I'm presenting to you tonight, and the employment liability. And they'll continue it to give us more time to shop. And today we did get auto on everything except the equipment. So the dump truck, which was hard to find coverage for, and then all of our other vehicles and the trailer are covered as of tomorrow morning or today. And that was for $6,000 for 6 months of $12,000, which I thought was a good price. Basically our rolling stock is all insured. And we're still insured under the Great American policy to the end of the year. So we kind of have double coverage for a few months on our rolling stock, but our equipment is still covered. So as it stands right now, if we just, and the cost to do the extension, they said, our broker just went to them and said, we're trying to put all the pieces together of their insurance and we're having trouble getting it done. And so they're going to fire us and start something like what they told them. We need more time. So they basically gave the broker the additional time, but that's great because that gives us more coverage. And but it's $25,000 for that. But, you know, at least we're covered and buys time because shopping for the auto is a nightmare right now. So what you're hearing on the news, we're pulling out of California. That's really not true, but they're not writing specialized like commercial, new commercial and new. So I told my wife, don't plan on going out shopping the car insurance this year because they're not doing new. So
They're not writing residences either.
then, yeah, you mentioned that problem too.
So I think it's more widespread than just commercial.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. That's all I've been shopping, so that I've been getting all of this, everybody in the office has been working on this. They're just getting kicked in the teeth. So tonight, we need approval to, I've put it in your packet, the directors and officers coverage, and it's with an A+14 rated company in Lexington, I believe. Anyway, it's here, and it's 46,781, and that's 5 million coverage. The deductible was higher than it was under the other, but it's not extreme. Anyhow, so.
And this cost isn't substantial. I mean, it's more than what we've been paying, but not tremendously.
No. And we were paying so low. When you take all the pieces of this package policy apart, and you know, because I knew like the D&O is generally at least 25 grand or it's half. And if you broke it back out of what we were paying, we were probably only paying 15 or something like that. And now, of course, the rates have gone up. So it really doesn't seem to be a Landmark, and they're an A+14 company. So with 5 million coverage. So unless there's any objection, or maybe we should just have a minute motion to authorize Lee to get the extension of the
Just the
full
extension.
package
Right.
to January 1st.
January 1st,
And to bind the Landmark D&O and employment liability coverage for 46,000. This is stuff worth there. And we'll do that in the morning. And we'll keep shopping though till the end of the year and see where we get. But at least our vehicles are taken care of, because that was a concern to me.
Okay,
And you probably expressed that too. So, and that policy is $1 million, and replacement value, what we stated the value is, that's what we get back and put a total. So it's a pretty normal, auto policy.
Okay.
And it's with Progressive, so they're A+ rated too.
And is this, so you indicated a minute motion. So in terms of the indemnification on the 2313,
That comes next.
okay, so let's
So
see,
we just
so we
need a
just need the
motion.
motion to do, yeah,
Motion to authorize staff to acquire the extension
right,
for the liability.
Right.
Or the Great American Package, we'll call that. And approval for the landmark, E&O and
the deal,
employment.
okay, okay.
I'll make a motion as Jim stated.
Okay, thank you very much, Chuck. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Thank you very much. Full left words there. All in favor, Mr. Bowman?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Dealessandri? Roberts, aye. Unanimously approved. Thank you. And I'm sure at some point, Jim, once you get all this sorted out, you just kind of do a little summary for us. It's just a lot of floating information there.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, yeah. Okay, so
We'll
you
do
can,
that.
yeah,
We'll do that.
okay, not right away, we
Yeah.
get the opportunity to do so, okay. Right.
In the course of doing all this insurance work, it used to just be simple. What's the new premium and how do I renew it? But it's a new day. And in the course of the discussions about that, generally I have seen, or places I've been, there was an indemnification, sometimes annually, of board employees. And we haven't done that here. So we asked the council if he could research that. He found a few that his other districts are using and took the best of all of them, put it together. And we have now for you Resolution 2313, which is a resolution of the board adopting an indemnification policy pursuant to the Government Claims Act of the California Government Code. And basically the policy, which is in Section 2, the district shall to the maximum extent provided by and in accordance with the Government Claims Act and other applicable California law, as may be amended from time to time, defend and indemnify each of its directors, officers, and employees against expenses, judgments, fines, compromises, settlements, and other amounts actually and reasonably incurred in connection with any claim or action against the director, officer, or employee arising out of an act or omission occurring within the scope of their role or employment for the district. For purposes of this resolution, an employee of the district shall not have the same meaning as set forth in Government Code Section 810.2. Successor statutes thereof, and includes without limitation any person who is or was a director, officer, or employee of the district. We talked with Ward's colleague that does our insurance matters. Chris, yeah, he's been here at the meeting before. And he advised that, and I knew this, that there's a lot of statutes. This isn't a situation where you weren't covered yesterday. It's just, this makes it,
Formal,
it's the icing on the cake.
right,
That you don't have to go do any of the legal research, is all right
Right
here.
here.
Okay. And that way also as people are considering running, for the board, whatever, you get asked that question, is there liability to me, can I lose my house, whatever.
right,
And this will just make it easier for me to answer the question.
sure.
There's a copy of it. And so my recommendation is that we have a motion second and a vote to pass resolution 23.
That's so moved.
Second,
I'll second.
okay. All in favor, Bowman?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Dealessandri? Roberts, aye. Unanimously approved. Thank you. Yes, very clear. Well done. Secretary. Legal counsel matters, Mr.
I
Smith.
don't have anything separate tonight. Most of my work's going to be in closed session, so I thought I would, for the interest of time, we could dispense with my report.
Okay, all righty. And so as a result, our next agenda item is M. That will be a closed session meeting. So at this particular time, I'd like to have our guests please exit the conference room. You may wait in the lobby if you wish to do so, and you can rejoin the meeting after we open the doors. Thank you. Help yourself with a good way out.
Have to.
Have to. There you
And there's nothing to report out. Nothing special as from closed session.
Okay, then the board meeting will now reconvene in open session. All righty, now let's see, where are we on the agenda? So we're back to open session. And item number 1 is consider authorized signature of the settlement agreement for the Brunswick versus Duluth CSD. Let's see, so we have a motion to approve the settlement agreement.
And authorize Jim to sign it.
Yes.
And you will authorize Jim to sign it.
I'll make the motion.
You'll make the motion.
Yes, I will.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'd just like to say, make sure that we understand that we're doing this with great reticence.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
And that we're very unhappy with the actions of the insurance company and the way they proceeded and ignored our input. So I think that needs to be said,
That's
put in the minute.
And the action is being taken under advice by council.
That is correct.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, what was the lawsuit about?
I'm sorry.
What was the lawsuit about?
We'll talk after the meeting. We can't do it here. I'll explain it to you.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Okay, let's see. You motioned, oh, sorry. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, Bowman?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
D'Alessandri? Roberts? Aye. Unanimously approved. Thank you. So I'm just not making that. All righty, and the second item on the portion of the agenda here is amendment to the general manager's agreement. So what I'm doing is authorizing
We're authorizing you.
me
To sign it.
to sign it, okay?
And then
And then,
the 2 amendments, or do you want me to go ahead and just?
yes,
Okay, so we're, the amendment to the general manager will include a 5% salary increase
correct,
and a 5% merit bonus.
yes. And the 5% salary adjustment is retro to July 1st, 2023. And the merit increase is effective December the 1st, 2023. Make sure we have those in the minutes as well. Okay. And
And I would say that comes with a big thank you from the board as well.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I
Yes.
really appreciate it.
Now, is that a motion?
I was just stating the motion.
Yes.
I so move.
okay, thank you. You've been wanting to move for a while now.
I'll tell you.
But either color, I beat you. A second, please.
And second with a congratulations.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, Bowman?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Nelson? Roberts, aye, unanimously approved. Thank you, everyone. Okay, being no other business, thank you, everybody, and this meeting is now adjourned.
Thanks again.
Welcome.
Working for you guys, so.